So this is a little part of our next green-fingered hill. Say hello, Subs.
Hello, Subs.
Say it again.
I'm in my green-fingered hill bit, but apparently not yet.
Do that. So I thought, earlier in the week, I did just a very short, for green-fingered hill, 8-minute walkabout the pots and all that sort of stuff.
Without
looking in the garden.
Subs.
Yeah, but I didn't do anything. I was
No,
just kind of flagging things up, looking at things, worrying about things, and generally getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I said to ourselves, why don't you just leave us loads of comments, because we will, on this occasion, we can't look at all your comments on every film because there wouldn't be time to make the content.
No.
So we would look at some of their comments here.
Oh, okay.
And so
I've just seen the first
yeah,
one,
so
and
the
I
first,
know an answer
so
to
the
it.
first one from Dawn Thompson. You said the garden does look lovely. I suggest a hydrangea bush.
Mark hates hydrangeas, Dawn.
Do you like hydrangeas?
They can be very useful, but you've hated them since you were a boy because his grandmother, my mom, always had hydrangeas.
I don't hate. I
everywhere.
love my nan. I just didn't like a hydrangea.
No, but you didn't like a hydrangea.
Princess Julia. I think maybe have some long boxes so the plants can grow up the trellis. I have a farm with a large red brick barn and I planted lots of honeysuckle a year ago. And the scent is breathtaking. Yeah, I was sharing, I'm worried about the size of those pots along by the fence. And a lot of people were saying just put them, but then we don't want nothing along the fence.
No.
We want to grow stuff up the fence. The garden's looking amazing from last year. Only bit of advice would be to get rid of a lot of the pots. But then do what with the plants?
Yeah, we'll put the plants...
That's Highland Girl. Highland Girl, what should we then do with the pots? Hi Mark, gardens are looking beautiful. You've done so much work. A little advice with the central bed. Think of the shape you want to create. For example, if you want height in the middle, then tapering down, or high near the edge of the deck and tapering down. Yeah, you don't think about these things, do you?
No, well,
This will then give you pointers for which plants to buy. Some shrubs, preferably evergreen, are a good backbone. That's why we have all these kind of... I'll read them and you just respond to them.
Okay.
So that's why we have all these kind of pointless evergreen garden bushes, isn't it? Because people are using them structurally, would you say?
Yes, but structurally in the wrong way for a garden. That's why they're used as park plants, because they form a barrier, basically.
Yes.
And that's fine to form a barrier. That's what those sort of plants do. But up until this point where we've gone a bit sort of rogue in terms of chopping them back, it wasn't like a garden. It was more like a park because of that. But yes.
Sarah and the Dirt also goes on to say, buy perennial flowers that you can eventually split, like agapanthus, verbena, perennial geraniums, great ground cover.
Yeah, I think we're just getting our head around that one.
Yeah.
I certainly am, and I'll make sure Mark
Thanks,
does too.
Sarah. We're doing a brilliant job.
Oh.
Someone says, Charlie Darwin says, get a rhododendron.
Rhododendron, I'm afraid, is the same thing as the hydrangea, not a...
But I've always been told over the years it's a giant weed.
By me, you've been told that.
But you say everything's a weed. It's like
Well,
anything
I do
that
that I
grows.
don't like.
Anything that grows, you call it a weed.
If I don't like it, I do. It's just that, no, they can be beautiful, Charlie, I agree, but they take over.
Not if you keep cutting them back.
They wouldn't be one of the first things. I agree that when you've got an established garden, a rhododendron might be quite good to put somewhere, but not when we're in the position we're in, because you've got to get the smaller sort of less...
But maybe I would disagree.
But
don't you need to get in the more structural stuff first, and then you pussyfoot around the edges?
I don't know about that.
Okay, Carol, 50s kid. Don't know if anyone else has mentioned this before, but nasturtiums.
Ooh.
Mixture of red and orange and yellow flowers would be very pretty to have in your garden.
They're very pretty, and nobody uses them anymore. They're sort of like an old-fashioned thing, but...
I did ask for suggestions for shrubs and perennial flowers for the central bed.
Yeah, no,
I love hebes.
Hebes,
What are
yes.
hebes?
I think they're a thing that grow up and look a bit like
They're
lavender.
Oh, right.
I think a bit.
Sally Young says they're an underrated shrub.
They are an underrated shrub, I would agree.
Would you agree?
with that.
Oh,
Yes.
Sally Young, Nanny Di agrees with you.
Yeah.
Fear the Walking Dawn. Hello. Santa Barbara Daisy. Ooh. Erigeron Carvinskianus.
I don't understand any of
That
that.
must be the name of it in Latin.
No, I know.
A Santa Barbara Daisy.
That sounds
wonderful. As in from Santa Barbara. Aces are a good plan, says Donna Perry.
You seem quite weary in this video.
I am.
So
I was weary in that video.
Yeah.
Looking good. Aces are a good plan, says
Yes.
Donna Perry. Low maintenance. Which
Yes.
is that true? I thought they might be high maintenance.
No. I think you could have a whole, and you have mentioned this yourself, getting a whole sort of towards a whole bed of aces.
Yes, the one next to where the hot tub's going.
Yeah, I think that
peonies
would be
won't. Oh, that's good to know, Donna Perry. Peonies won't do much now until next year. They have part
you,
their
Donna.
flowering time and don't always on the first year. Oh, that's good to know. So the ones that
Thank
come
you,
up
Donna.
don't flower on their first year.
That's going to
And
make
I'm
him
worried
feel
about the
better.
peony trees too. Laura D. Bays. Honeysuckle and Japanese honeysuckle smells divine.
Okay.
Our neighbours has it growing on a fence. and flopped into ours. I love it. Smells wonderful. It would look lovely. Well, yeah, we've got it growing.
It's not big enough yet.
My concern is how big. Our decking isn't made of wood. It's made of a plastic composite, so it won't rot. But obviously that's a wooden fence. So should we get sort of horse trough shape? My sense is that we need modernist looking horse trough shaped.
Yeah, maybe.
But then won't all the roots coagulate together and then it becomes a monstrous problem?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
What do you think, guys? Joanne Littlewood, the roses will grow next year. My husband cuts ours. You know, there's 2 pots, the really dead ones. I was asking, are they alive?
Yeah.
Orion 235, glad to see you're a fan of acers. I adore them. My garden's full of them. The colours change from reds to burnt orange. The colours are amazing. It's like watching Technicolor in action.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
Orange Dream, Artopurpureum and Sango Keiko are my top 3. Oh, those are your top 3 acers. We'll make a note of those.
Yeah, we will.
As for roses, highly recommend a stunning Arthur Bell. Glorious yellow rose with a breathtaking scent.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Orion 235. Hi, Mark. I was asking, why is our lavender not growing more, even though you've cut it back? And Sasha
Needs to go in
Wharton
the
says,
ground.
hi, Matt. Yes, your lavender needs to go in the ground. You don't ever talk about feeding the soil.
No, but you and I realised that we should have been feeding the soil for
Well, that's
the...
why they suggested the allium have come, but they look like this.
They look like this.
Yeah,
It's a
they do.
very good impression.
Someone's suggesting putting bloodfish and bone around the
Oh,
bases.
bloodfish and bone. Yeah, you get the meal. You
For
get it.
lavender. Oh, right.
For lavender?
Yeah. Do you feed... Oh, plants and shrubs that are in the ground. So lavender in the ground will do better than lavender in a pot. Ellen Jones, biggest tip, and I know this is hard, is the bed in full sun, part shade or shade. Sort your soil out before buying plants. Read the plant labels or tell you what conditions. Yeah, we're not particularly good at that, are we?
No.
Ask NADIA to set up a subscription to Gardeners. God, this is very pragmatic, Ellen. Thank you very much. I don't have the time to watch all your videos as much as I love them. All right, okay. Well, thanks for your contribution, though.
Look, Mark, are you for hire?
Daniela Price, got a big birthday coming up in September, my 40th. Mark, are you for hire? Would love a Diet Coke moment from me in my garden.
Blimey.
Bloody hell, I'm being asked to... I'll come along and I'll strip off. Helen,
yes.
I'm useless in the garden, don't know a flower from a weed. Neither does my mum.
I think everything's weeds.
Ellen
It's
Jones.
not a wild rose, Ellen Jones is saying, which is interesting.
It's not a wild rose. No, it doesn't look like a wild rose. It's so fat and funky. It's
Well,
the one
that's
that's
very
looking at us
interesting because
down there.
nobody's mentioned that so far.
When
And
I
I'm
look-
only calling it a wild rose because I don't know the proper name for it, but we used to always call roses like that wild rose.
Ellen Jones, quite a few comments here. Tree peonies like a fertile soil in shady conditions, but they don't like over-watering.
Ooh.
Oh, that's odd. Now, I also read that tree peonies drop their leaves once they've had their season. So maybe that's all I'm encountering with one of them, is that we got them
Yeah.
late, we put them in
Yeah.
late, they're going to go back, and then next year they'll do
Yeah.
their thing.
Yeah.
Let's hope so, because they look bloody useless at the
You've
moment.
got a brilliant one coming up here. You must have shown
Ellen
them the
Jones,
olives.
yeah, wow, with the olive tree. It's amazing, isn't it? That was a what do you call it when I
Grew it from-
incubated?
grew it from
yeah.
seed.
Alliums, full sun.
Yeah, okay, we've got that.
Ellen Jones, you're full of advice. Thank you very much. Almost
Jones, there's
almost
all
everything
Ellen
is in
Jones.
much too small a pot.
Okay.
Yes, your climbers need at least 4 to 6 foot of depth.
Oh, that's good. She's
Well, that's
giving us some maths.
Yeah, but a 4 to 6 foot of depth, that's going to be
Oh,
as
here
deep.
you are,
But
the
mum,
passion flower.
4 to 6 foot. That means you have soil as deep as you are. That would be soil coming up to... We can't do that. That means so we
No.
can't... Can we not grow stuff, Ellen, along the fence unless we have 4 to 6 foot?
Where she says there, where you say this, Ellen, and this is very true, the passion flower is growing towards the sun because your deck area is in dapple shade most of the time. That's very true, and I don't understand why the passion flower has done worst out of all our climbers, and I always think that nothing can kill them.
Well, Ellen also says the sweet peas need more depth. It's funny you should say that. Our
Oh.
friend Rachel came over and said they ain't going to do much. They need to be deep. They need to be in soil. So what I'm going to do for next year, that was a bit of a test run.
Yeah.
Obviously a big mistake. We were
Yeah.
trying to use those awful pots from Sarah Raven.
Yes.
So I think we should have a little trellised area of that,
Yeah.
of that bed
Yeah.
where we grow sweet peas each year.
Yeah, okay.
Donna Layfills, I'm not a fan of putting things in pots. Your honeysuckle and lavender should be planted into the ground.
Okay.
But where would the honeysuckle grow to if it's planted in the ground?
Yeah, I don't actually agree with that. The lavender, yes, but the honeysuckle, because it's a climber, for a start, has to go somewhere where it
I'm
can
wondering
climb.
whether what we could do is transplant the honeysuckle over to the fence where we can reach over to Betty and Teddy.
One of the things that we wanted to do, and up to a point we've achieved, I mean, unfortunately, nothing's flowered. All the smelly things haven't flowered, but eventually we want to be able to go out and smell nice things from here,
Yes.
this end, rather than that
So
end.
here's the question.
So the jasmine, for example, and the honeysuckle, both
Yeah.
are gorgeous smellers.
Gorgeous smellers, but here's the question. We accept that they should be planted into the ground. how do we get jasmine growing over all this beautiful trellis given we have a patio?
Yeah.
That's the querulous problem.
It is the querulous, if querulous is the right
Querulous.
word. But also, the
That's
jasmine
the
has done...
querulous beast.
I don't think it's querulous.
That's that's the quibbleless nonsense.
Is that Lewis Carroll?
That's the quisper quez. That's the
This
quipper.
has turned into
That's
Alice
the
in Wonderland.
quipple flipple. How do we do it?
No, the jasmine has done very well.
Well, it's done well.
We've left
but-
it alone and it's up
Right,
this end.
here's the thing, guys. We're hearing the pots need to be bigger. So let's granted we give them all bigger pots. We're going to get a bigger pot, put them in a bigger pot. It's all going to be a bigger pot. But we can't do 4 to 6 foot there. So what do we do with that side there? I know people could say we don't like pots. We can't plant the things into the decking.
No, exactly.
So what do
They
we
need
do?
to stay. Actually, there's another person here talking about hydrangeas. One type of hydrangea which I reluctantly...
This is Jill Dyer. You're saying I agree with lots of the others. Hydrangeas are beautiful at the moment.
Yeah, they are at their best now. That's why
Right.
people are saying about, because there's masses of blooms.
Right.
But I'll tell you what's a very good hydrangea, and it's the only one I ever liked, and it's the only one I ever planted at Bennett's,
Yeah.
is what they call a climbing hydrangea.
Oh, tell them. Look at
Climbing
that.
hydrangea, and it's sort of, do you know it, Subs? And it grows up. It doesn't look like a traditional.
Yeah, the thing I think of is a
Yeah,
shrub
it's
in a
a-
corner with bright colours. That
Yeah.
looks like a suburban.
And what's good about that is you get a preponderance of colour.
Right.
And a climbing hydrangea, it's not quite so intense.
That's right.
But it climbs.
Jill Dyer also suggests perennial geraniums. Now,
Yes.
I have as much of a hostility to conventional geraniums
Yeah.
as I do hydrangeas.
But we discovered that there are a couple of geraniums.
And I
that
think
you
those are
quite
some
like.
of the perennial geraniums that I ordered. I have ordered
I
some.
hope so. And another person's mentioning Hebe.
Hebe.
We've definitely got to look at Hebe.
Jesus, we're going to have to take some Hebe. We're going to have to look at Hebe. I don't even know what Hebe looks like.
No, I think I do.
Georgina Spencer, is there any seating areas in your garden other than the decking? I think a couple of seating areas in different spots in the garden will look lovely. Well, it's funny you should say that because right next to, in that part of the garden where Nanny Dye's bed is going to be, where Stephen removed the entire foliage, Nadia made a very good suggestion of putting little sort of concrete blocks down there and having a little sort of sipping wine area. Do you remember?
Oh.
Lisa Baldwin, the thing is, Mark, I've seen how much your garden has invigorated you. I can't overstate this enough. Thanks, Lisa. It has invigorated me. I watched from the beginning last year when you started working outdoors.
Oh,
it was
how
lovely to see
sweet.
how positive and happy you were becoming. Makes me teary thinking
Lisa
about.
Baldwin, you're
Bloody
so
hell, Lisa
sweet.
Baldwin. If things are spindly, those beds are not getting enough sun.
See, she says lavenders love hot sun, and that's the
Lavenders
only
love
thing
sun,
I know
yeah.
about lavenders is that they love hot sun,
Yeah.
which is not getting
Pots,
there, let's face it.
I will mostly use pots for bedding plants. Then they are done at the end of the year. You can put some bulbs under them in the pot.
You probably wished you'd never asked.
Yeah, most of
Very
the things that you have in pots are things I would have planted in the ground in a suitable place. So that's what you're saying. So we're sitting here saying we want jasmine up the fence, but what you're kind of saying, guys, is
You can't have it. No.
So what do we have up a surely is there okay, so here's the better question.
Yes, okay.
What can we grow from pots on a patio to climb up a fence?
Yes.
That's the question. And if it's none of those things, then we're going to have to find somewhere else for all those things in the garden.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to wonder whether yeah, I don't know. You see, I feel like we've got ourselves in deep with all this stuff up against the fence and people are telling us it's the wrong place for it. You're feeling you can grow more in pots than people are making out.
Maybe we're trying too hard with things like clematis, which are actually quite complicated. Maybe we should just try roses, honeysuckle and jasmine.
So
all
where
of
do
which
we put
smell.
all our clematises then?
Yeah,
One thing you can't do,
clematis
you can't put a climbing shrub in the middle of a bed.
No, because it's got nothing to climb
Got nothing
against.
to climb against.
Clematis is tradition. All I know, I did grow a lot of clematises at Bennett's, but they have to be deep. They have to be shaded roots growing into the sun.
It's very specific. I mean,
Shaded
God.
roots growing into
Like
the sun.
maintenance or
But that's all
what?
that anybody said, and in the end, as long as I could fulfil that, they grew like mad.
Well, where
I
the hell
think-
have we got in the garden that's shaded roots?
No, but I think the clematises, except for the one that's in, that's in too smaller pot. There's one that's ridiculously small. We just didn't have a chance to transfer it. Is that I think next door had a lot of the blooms of the clematis because, of course, it went over the fence where the sun is. There's nothing you can do about that. But as long as you're getting,
So we have one wisteria down by all the other things here, and that is, I took that out of the pot and I've put that in the soil, so that will grow.
Yeah.
I mean, in a weird way, what everyone's saying is we need to be able to do the same thing.
wisterias are weeds, though. They're not. You're never going to lose your wisterias. There'll be a point with that wisteria on the tree where you think, God, I wish I'd never put this wisteria.
Right.
Nice comment from Catherine Rostani in the sense of she's trying to big us up a bit. A lot of us have said your climbers are better in the ground or in massive pots, and that's why they're not really thriving. So maybe have a rethink about that. I can see the love you have for your garden, but don't get overwhelmed. That's very true, especially for Mark. He gets overwhelmed.
Well, I'm so overwhelmed by how inappropriately potted we've potted all our clematis. We shouldn't have tried to grow them from pots.
No, you can.
Clematis. Everyone's
Yes.
telling us we shouldn't have.
You just need more pots, bigger ones.
Okay, look at this, Chevy Man. I saw a place where you can make garden gnomes that look like you. That's brilliant, Mum. We could get one of you. You should get some that look like you and your family and place them around the garden. Chevy Man, send us a link. That sounds great.
That does sound good.
Mark, some of your pots are too small for the plants, says Julie Cheeseman. In autumn,
Yeah.
most plants need cutting back. Roses, clematis, you must get rid of weeds. Plant lots of shrubs that come back year after year. I know, that's what we want. I don't know if it's a boy thing. I am anti-annuals.
Yeah,
I find
perennials are the thing.
But I think if in garden responsibility, if you're always responsible every year for the annuals that go into pots
Okay.
and bulbs and stuff like that, whereas I'm going to be more responsible. I want the fundamental stuff that keeps coming back and growing every year.
You have to split them then.
Heidi Hinter, olive tree, get great job on sowing your seeds, Mark. Karen Brace, I'm up for the bed. Go and get lots of bedding plants for instant colour.
Yeah, it's too late for bedding plants
It is a
now,
bit, isn't
though.
it? And also instant colour. I know instant colour is good, but then you've got to deal with the debris of them left behind, don't you?
But you don't. You don't even deadhead
Well,
them.
no. But the point is that it's like we've had pots all year with annuals that had nothing. They just sat in pots looking ugly for 9 months of the year. Try and get some of the plants in the ground. You do seem to have an awful lot of pots which can make the decking area look crowded. Yeah, which is kind of why we moved everything down that end. I didn't quite like that.
That's very true.
Try to only buy plants if you know exactly where they're going. Well, we do.
This is one day ago, is that when
Jackie
you-
S. Yeah, that's when they put the... I only put this form up
that's
3 days ago.
amazing.
Well, one comment, Angie Crummins. I hope I pronounced your surname right. You write a lot of comments, so it's lovely to see you. Good idea to increase pot size, water every day, preferably the evening, and some plant food. Miracle Grow, the blue crystals is good stuff. I don't think we feed enough.
No.
Should you feed everything?
Yeah, so these are some questions.
Yes.
Should we feed everything? But the only thing we did recognise about a fortnight ago that we hadn't fed anything, and that was probably
why
the
the
reason
alliums are doing
the
so
alliums
badly.
are doing so badly with their heads. But what I would ask you guys is, isn't it a bit late to feed plants now? Won't it encourage growth as we go into the autumn, where we should be encouraging growth? I always understood...
Mum's very keen for autumn to be upon us.
No, I'm not. I just
She likes
see
the
signs
deadhead
all
thing.
over
She
the place.
basically, she's like, do you remember that awful case of the nurse who was killing people with insulin?
Mark!
You're like that with plants.
Mark!
You're like
He wouldn't deadhead anything ever.
You
He
are
thinks I'm
Munchausen by proxy in the garden.
No,
you are.
I am not. I'm
You
just
tell
realistic.
plants they're dead and you make them think they're dead and then you
No.
pluck their heads off.
Yeah, but that's an important question about the feeding.
It is, it's a good one.
When I had my own garden, I always
Are they all
remember that
gonna-
there was something about if you give them feed at the wrong time,
Yeah.
it encourages growth.
They're going to
Then
suddenly
get-
shoot up at the point that they'll be cut down
Yeah.
by the vicissitudes of winter.
Or me.
Or you. Well, exactly. If anything grows, she cuts it.
Don't.
Never make any bloody progress. Cut the lavender right back. Everyone's saying the lavender
Did
needs
that.
to go into the bed.
Yeah, okay.
So Nadia's desire for lavender. I think lavender pots are clear. So here's the thing. Clearly, lavender in a pot, which Nadia loves, is clearly more like an annual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll die off. Whereas if you keep it in your beds, then it shows...
Well, it's just exactly the same. You cut it back.
Yeah, but
it sits there.
yeah,
and
but
then
we've
it
done
comes
that
back
with
into-
that one in the pot and it hasn't. It comes back less and less the last 3
No,
years.
only because it wasn't in the sun. That would have
right.
flowered as well as the other things did.
Okay, cut
Hydrangeas.
lavender.
The people
Hi
are
Mark, I plant Dawn Ramegkis.
Hellebores.
Hellebores, what's a hellebore?
I don't know, but I recognise the name and I can't think what the flower.
Put it in the
flower
border, they
looks like.
bush out and the flowers are
Yes,
beautiful and last a
yes.
long time. I'd also put your lavender there too because they don't like being in pots.
Oh.
We're discovering that.
Yeah.
Lupins, delphiniums, foxglove. Isn't that a foxglove that I've got down
Yes, yes.
there? Is that a foxglove that I've got down there?
Yes.
Lupins, delphiniums, foxglove and daisy bunched together is nice for height. Carpet roses as semi-ground cover. Carpet roses as semi-ground cover. Is that
roses.
kind of what that bush
Well,
is
that's
over
what
there?
I'm wondering is another word for what I call wild roses. Is
Yeah.
maybe called carpet roses.
But that rose bush there is different to the rose bush above your bed.
Yeah.
The one above your bed looks like looks a bit common. Whereas
Yeah.
that one over there, looked bloody lush. I mean, that one over there dragged Nadia into the garden to do an Insta story, extolling the virtues of colour in the garden.
True.
You wanted to kill that as well.
No,
Gardens
he
are
isn't.
always a work in progress. However, get rid of all those fucking pots. Okay, the clematis and other fence climbers need as big a pot trough as you can get. I think trough might be the way forward.
Yeah.
If something in a pot isn't doing very well, it's probably because it's not pot bound. The lavender would do better in your main flower bed. I'd also get a few more. I'd also get more roses. You can never have enough roses. That's true. Maybe. Pots are fine for things like fuchsias, petunias, busy lizzie, daisies. Oh, thanks, Karen Oliver. That's good advice. Good advice. You're doing so well, Mark. Gardening is hard work and it's constant. Tell me about it, Michelle Tabrizzi. Whew, some clematis go woody once finishing flowering. Azaleas are pretty. You don't like azaleas, do you?
No, I like azaleas more than rhododendrons, but they flower at the beginning of the season and then nothing for months and months and months and months.
Oh, right, okay. That's Michelle Tabrizzi also saying that we should get different types of lavender. That's a nice idea. We could have a lavender bed.
There was something on TV about the different types of lavender.
Different types of NADIA would love that.
Yeah, she
And
would.
great for bees, I guess. Yeah. Delphiniums and hollyhocks are beautiful. Lady's mantle. Lady's mantle is a green shrub that holds the dew on its leaves, so it's pretty and delicate. Ooh, Michelle Tabrizzi. That sounds good. We'll look into that.
Yeah.
Zoe. Hello, Zoe. Mark, you've done fantastic work with the garden. Well bloody done. Nads has finally got a dream garden. Well,
no.
No.
It'll never be a dream garden.
I don't think it'll ever be a dream garden unless there's a swimming pool in it, a self-serving gin and tonic machine, the biggest barbecue known to man, and parts of it sort of streamlined like, I don't know, Beirut. She's got an odd idea of a perfect garden. Heather Boschel. Imagine you're almost 6 feet tall and take 12 size shoes. Now imagine trying to walk in size 4 shoes. Wow, this is very vivid imagery.
It is.
That's what your poor plot... Oh, don't. We're feeling weird. Put the climbers and large bushes in the ground, please. Heather.
And she's got the name, let's face it.
Heather, you've got the name.
Yeah, for a plant person.
For a plant person. So put the climbers in the ground. But we're going to have to put them in the ground near a... I'll tell you where we could bloody put nearly all our climbers. Where we could see them every day. The fence where Stephen's cleared. Opposite the window there.
Yeah, there's a lot to clear between us and the...
Yes, but we can get them in the soil. As long as we can get them, again, like with this bed, plant them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way forward. Then we're going to have nothing here. If we remove everything from this end here, what do we have at the end of the...
I think we make this of climbing roses.
Just climbing roses?
Maybe.
Oh, that's bold.
It is, because there's... Yeah, and we'd have the smell as well. But keep jasmine and honeysuckle. Actually, Subs... The clematis is given what we've given them, which is nothing. They've done quite well.
So maybe it is a trough. I just think we need to go troughing.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Heather. Jane Manners, shrub roses and different colours would be good in that border, but it must be weed-free. Clematis would be better in the ground, providing you have something for them to climb up.
Yeah.
General rule for clematis: have their heads in the sun, feet kept cool.
Yeah.
Hydrangeas give a good show. I would suggest that you water every day. Lavender is better in the ground. Yeah, we're getting... This is good advice, thank you.
It is.
They also say roses and lavender make good bedfellows.
Oh, that's a good thing to
Jane
know.
Manas, that's great advice. Thank you very much. Mark, you and Annie have done an awesome job. Garden looking lovely. Let's see. Yvonne Sperrin, how about planting up some fuchsias in that bed? I'm not anti a fuchsia. We could try a fuchsia. They can grow quite large and are beautiful. I think the
you can make hedges of them, in fact. In fact, the whole of the Isle of Man is a fuchsia hedge.
Oh, a fuchsia hedge. Leanne Dinky, 1987. It's looking so good,
name.
Mark. Roses are just beautiful. Different types of salvia.
Salvia.
I thought that said saliva. Lovely. They're pretty hardy and will spread and give to height to the garden. Salvia Dayglow is gorgeous.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go through this in a minute with
we
the notebook.
Are. Now, I used to hate salvias with a passion.
Oh, did you?
They used to be my least favourite flower. But I noticed from watching things like the flower shows, like Chelsea and that, and Hampton Court and that, there are different types of salvias now, which look stunning. So maybe we should look at those.
Yeah. Patrick McCullery, perennial Hydrangeas sauce for spelling, and salvia. Look for plants that will come up next year and every year. You can split them and say, yeah, you see, I'm up for that. See, Patrick, isn't that interesting? That comes from a bloke. I'm up for splitting, reseeding. Now, our poppy, which has got a poppy head, can I take that poppy head and sprinkle it in a part of the bed? And will they come up? That's what I want to know.
They won't come up.
Hydrangeas are coming through a lot. John McCormick. Clematis should really be grown in the ground, not pots. Also in full sun. Dear Mark, Arlene Jackson, sit down, take a minute and absorb this information. Get those climbers out of the pots and into the ground. They will eventually trail along the fence. Secondly, listen to Nanny Dyer. She does know what she's talking about in the garden. And has done a great job deadheading, which is all the garden tasks which will make plants grow. Please don't plant lilies, Debbie Young. As beautiful as they are, they're highly toxic. Christine Agin, all the climbers you mentioned should really be in the ground. Keep hearing that. Sarah White, have you watched back your initial Green-Fingered Hell video? Transformation has been incredible.
That's true, actually. We should do that just to make ourselves feel better.
We seem to be slavishly obsessed with what's going on this bloody patio.
Well, that's true.
Why? Let's get everything off here.
Oh, blimey.
I think what you need to do, book on month, Carol Brand. I think what you need is two things: a garden book on month by month doing. Two, invite your friend, the fabulous Nigel Slater, over. He does have a beautiful garden, which was designed by Monty Don, no less. The headlines out of all of this, there's so many brilliant feedback. We'll read all the others, but what we're growing in the pots against the fence either has to go in a much bigger trough, or has to go into a bed.
Yes.
And I can't think of any beds that are appropriate for those climbers. So I think we're going to have to go trough.
Oh, trough.
You
Okay.
know, a little bit like the one we've got for the roses. I think it's a nice idea to just grow it. If there was one part of the garden where I think was possibly asking for clematis to potentially go, it's the two bits, the fence over there by the greenhouse, or it's the fence where Stephen's actually now. I mean, let's face it. Although there's still a tree above that fence, Stephen's cleared it so immeasurably. You know, we could get something up there.
Yeah, no, we definitely.
Or do we create trellises along that side of the building and grow stuff up against the house?
Well, then we have the same problem with the pot.
No, I mean, you'd have to do it wherever we can create a soily
Oh,
bottom.
I see.
What we need is like where we've put the wisteria there, we need access to soil against a fence. Now, the only other place I can think is that running along the left down there past where the hammock is, we could remove all of that sort of privet fence there and try and grow stuff up there. But again, the tree cover makes it too shaded, I think.
Well, we've got to prune back those trees anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just that we can't do everything as...
So there you go. Thank you so much for your
Thank
feedback.
you.
There's some real food for thought there, and we'll get a pen and paper, and my mum will jot down some of those names because, like Hebes.
And it's made us feel much better because we
Hydrangeas.
never think about what it looked like in the beginning. And it
No,
was pretty.
that is encouraging. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway, more
Hooray.
Green Figured Help coming this weekend.